1. What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Platinum Podcast. We are back on Zoom. Today, I have a very special guest. We've been friends for a while. We've never really hung out, but it's because she's just lives so far, and I just learned that it's a part of the Midwest today. So,
Yes.
she's a content creator, an inspiring person, musician, um, a great model, videographer, photographer. She does it all. So I got Rosie Xiong here. What's up, Rosie?
Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. I think season 1 of Platinum Podcast, I really wanted you to come, but then I wanted my production and I wanted all of my mic and quality to be up par with yours, because everything you do with your YouTube channel is like pretty high standard and pretty high quality. So I was just like, man, if I want Rosie on, I need it to be at least what she has. You know what I mean?
Not even, man. Like the stuff I have it's literally not even all that.
Yeah, I mean, like you've been making YouTube videos for a while, right?
Yeah, since 2012.
2012. Wow. That's a lot longer than I've been making videos. But let's start from way in the beginning, from when we met. We met at from at Lou, right?
Yes, who 2012 too, right?
Was it 2012? It was like 6,
Was it?
I think 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
That's 2014-ish, around there, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think 2014.
Yeah, I think that time I was a really skinny kid. Yeah, and that time you were, I don't know, you were pretty short too.
Yeah, I still am. I'm at the same height.
Yeah, I mean, I gained a lot of weight since then, but I've stopped playing soccer, so maybe that's why.
You're good. You're good, dude.
So yeah, I met you over there. I think I don't even remember how we met. I just remember we were eating lunch or breakfast. I don't know what it was, and I think you were sitting behind me or something, and somebody said you were a singer. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I kind of want to hear her sing. And then I asked you to sing like on the spot, and you started singing. I think legit. I think that's how we met, if you remember.
I For some reason I remember you guys had a ukulele and you guys are walking around campus, I think.
I think somebody was, yeah.
And we just started jamming like on the road, kind of like the
Yeah.
little sidewalk. That's all I can remember. I don't remember the lunch part
Oh,
and me
okay.
singing, but maybe that was me too.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, there was a bunch of people there though.
Oh man, that's so embarrassing when I think about that for me. I can't believe I just sang like that.
I think, was that like the beginning parts of your like singing like career?
I don't even know if I have a career in singing, but it was sort of kind of like a way for me to connect with Hmong people in a
Mm.
way where I could be recognized because I do sing a little bit. And so I guess that's a little bit of a start on how people started finding out who I was.
Yeah, I mean, looking at your YouTube page, like going back to your YouTube page, you do have I think like 4 point something, right?
Hmm.
Subscribers, and I think you do have a really good following. Most of it from the beginning was music, right? And then you kind of transferred into like content creating and like videography, and it looks so good every time you do it. Like,
Thank
I
you.
want to I want to pick your brain a little bit, and kind of like, what what is going through your mind when you're behind the camera?
Yeah. So yeah, like you mentioned, I went to do singing first when I did YouTube video,
Mhm.
but then it came to this point in my life where I was just like, I'm not even singing songs I like. I'm just trying to get up there, and it didn't work. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a step back and I'm going to reevaluate what I want to do with my YouTube channel,
Hmm.
and so that I could be genuine and I could be real with whoever's watching my videos.
Right.
And so that's where the shift started to happen, when it went from not only singing but to like making short films or just like doing fun stuff that I like to do. And so
Hmm.
when I'm behind the camera, like there's so much thought that goes into it. And you make YouTube videos too, like just the different angles and like how to say something to your audience. You don't want to
Right.
come off too like too arrogant, but you also want to be humble where they can feel like they relate to you.
Right.
And it's not me being fake, it's me trying to be as real as I can be, but
Yeah.
not come off in a way where like people don't want to watch my videos anymore. um,
Right.
but yeah, I hope that answered your question.
No, yeah, that's a really good point you make too. And then it's like just trying to be yourself, right?
Yeah.
Through the videos that you make. Is it kind of weird, you think, that like people like you and people like me like to like kind of share our lives with everybody, essentially everybody, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's weird. I think it only gets weird if it brings in drama, and if it's
Right.
like too personal to the
Mm,
point where you feel like you have to share everything, because you honestly you don't have to share everything. It's also your life too.
hmm. Yeah, so it is kind of like social media or like Instagram, really. Like you get to pick and choose what you share, right? So you
Hmm.
could, I mean, like some people do like to show like the drama stuff just to spice things up a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
But I mean, what you've shown and what like your channel, what has progressed into something that's like, yeah, like really personable to you. I feel like it's somewhat like one of your journals, you know what I mean? Like a video
thank you.
journal
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
Yeah, and you also are you also are like a Christian, right?
yes, yes, I am.
Yeah, so like how does that tie into like your videography or like your perspective of making videos?
I think it changes it a lot. I went to school for like communications, but I also emphasized in film and media,
Mhm.
and so I got to take film courses. And just being surrounded by people who weren't Christian, like I could see that a lot of people were going for more things that uh, how would I say, like more secular, and in a way because it wasn't as a Christian how I should represent Christ. And so
Mhm.
I was like, how can I also make films that are aesthetically pleasing, but also reach my audience without breaking the Christian, or without breaking, what I'm trying to say, not the Christian standard, but more of like what my beliefs are in Christ. You know
Right.
what I mean? And
Mhm.
so I didn't want to fake it. And I could fake it. I could be like, oh, well, I'm just going to do what the world is doing and follow what everyone else is doing so that I
Right.
could be accepted into that community. But
Mhm.
the neat thing is like with Christians and media, it's something that I'm so passionate about, and I want to like help other Christian artists or like filmmakers and
Mhm.
storytellers do, because I don't see a lot of that, especially in the Hmong Christian community. Like there's
Yeah.
not a whole bunch of talk about media and using that for God's kingdom. And so I'm sorry, what was the question again?
No, no, yeah, you're answering, yeah. But I mean, yeah, like you said, like there isn't a lot of like Hmong Christian media people, right?
Yeah,
There's of course there's like musician bands, right? There's a lot of those, but also like I think it taps into like what Hmong people in general are missing out on, like just the media aspect of a lot of things and like even social media. I know like a lot of Hmong people are still big on Facebook, you know, and I think
yeah,
Instagram is like kind of like the next thing that's going to be like the next Facebook for Hmong people, you know?
yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for
so like
sure.
um pretty much it's like what's your opinion on like the next stages of media for Hmong people, because we do have musicians, we now we do have like actors and stuff like that, and now we have like podcasters, we have like you know, videographers like yourself and like music directors or music video directors and stuff like that. What do you think would be the next step for Hmong people in general, or like what would you like to see next?
Yeah, I feel like the Hmong community, especially in like the arts field, like the media and arts, like they're growing
Hmm.
so big. And it's so cool to see like small, short Hmong films. Like there is that new kind of like Hmong drama. I don't know if you remember, that came out a while ago with like the
Hmm.
whole past and the future. I don't know the
Oh
Hmong
yeah.
name, but you
No,
know what I'm
I know what
talking
you're talking
about?
about. Yeah.
Yeah, and at first I was like, man, that's so corny, right? But when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, like I want more.
Right.
Like it's just the start of what we can do.
Right.
And I want to go back to like being a Christian on that. And it's what I'm saying is I'm not trying to discourage those who are not Christians. Like
Hmm.
I support whatever you guys are doing. Like I love the art that you guys make and what you guys stand for. You know, whoever is doing whatever because they believe in that. And but for me personally, um, with that fight, what I want to see more is for my inner fight. I mean, like I had a big, um, kind of like identity crisis where it was like, do I continue being not continue being Christian, but do I make films that are more Christ-like, or do I try to fit in with the world? And so that was my huge struggle.
Mm.
And when it really came down to it, I was like, I do want to make films that, or like videos in general. Thing. Sorry, my room is so bright. I
No,
look
that's
so
okay.
mika. Hold up. Let me just
Okay.
let me just fix this. You're gonna edit this right out, right? You're gonna edit this?
I don't know. I usually don't edit. I just have to make match up the audio with the video.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm okay if they watch this.
Okay.
Um, but okay, yeah, but what I really want to focus on is just like the Christian aspect of media and how and where that's going. And I want more Christian Hmong filmmakers to be out there. I know I see a lot of like non-Christian Hmong filmmakers and they're really good. Like the stuff
Mhm.
they do is amazing. I just want that to be applied for the church and how the church can also use media, especially in the day and age that we're in, to help spread the gospel even more.
Right.
So I hope that answered your question. I'm sorry. I go on off so many
No, you're good.
tangents.
I mean, like that's what honestly that's what my podcast is about. Is just kind of like going off on a question or like on a topic. You know what I mean? And kind of like getting lost in the conversation. Yeah. So it's like yeah, it's interesting what you say about like Hmong people. Not I don't want to say verses, right? Just
Mm,
like regular Hmong people and Christian Hmong people. You know what I mean? There is a I feel like there is a divide, but at the same time, as Hmong people as a whole, and with media, it is very different. But then with what the content you're making, like I'm not Christian, right?
mm,
I'm not Christian, but like with the perspective that you bring from your videos, it brings something different to the table. You know what I mean? It brings something like a different perspective to the Hmong media in general. So I think that's a really good perspective in general. I think like your perspective of wanting to shine a light on God through the videos that you create is different from what another Christian would do. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. So
And not oh sorry.
yeah, go
What were you
ahead.
gonna
Go
say?
ahead.
I was gonna say, and not all my videos are like Christ centered, but
Right.
it's something that I want to go more towards in my future is helping ministries to achieve that goal.
Oh, okay. That
Mhm.
would be pretty cool to see. Um, just to see that, like more churches are involved in the media, right? Or like they have more videographers like yourself to make something cool. Or I mean like not cool, but then like something interesting to, maybe draw other people to the church, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the Mika churches, the white churches, like they do such a good job of that, like with their social media teams.
Mm,
And especially if we look at like, for example, Hillsong's music videos, like
right.
all of the Young and Free one, like they know how to advertise that. And it's not to like lie about who they are or like give off that appearance, but it is
Mhm.
sort of to sell a little bit of what they are trying to do. And it
Yeah,
is
it's
neat.
like marketing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
market.
I mean, I think it's like the basic is just like trying to get the word out there, really. That's pretty much what marketing is. And I
Yeah.
think it's very important for Christians to like be able to market in with new media. I think the like traditional way is fine, you know what I mean? But then like there is the new age and there is new media, and for sure there has to be people like you out there to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And especially you too. I feel like a lot of people, like, I remember my teacher who taught journalism. He was like this journalist and he went all over the world. And one advice he told us was, we got to keep recording videos. Like, we just got to keep posting. It doesn't matter what. Like,
Right.
start a YouTube video, a YouTube channel today.
I mean, it's hard.
Oh,
Trust me.
it
Yeah, it's hard to
is.
be consistent. I fell into you know, the the trap of just like I love making videos, but then like all of a sudden I just stop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I think you've been consistent for a really long time too. I mean, I don't know. Every time you post up something, I go watch it. You know what I mean?
Thank you. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is hard, like being consistent. I for sure know I have not been consistent, um, just because like life gets in the way, and
Right.
then you can't really put all your heart into what you want to make, and also like a lot of self doubt comes in. I don't know if that happens for you, which is
Mm,
why sometimes I take a break because I'm like, man, my videos are not as good as I want them to be or where they should be. Because I've made videos since 2012 and I only have
right.
like 4,000 followers, which I'm so appreciative of my 4,000 like people
Hmm.
who like support me. But at the same time, it's not a lot for being on YouTube for however long 2012 was to
Hmm.
now 2020. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like I had to come to terms with, I'm okay if only 100 people watch my videos because
Right.
honestly, that's more important for those 100 people and for me to continue to do what I love to do. And even though I'm not as famous for it, I still love making videos and
Hmm.
hopefully I can just only get better from there. And if people want to support me along the way, then I'll take that.
Yeah, you said something very important to like to new and upcoming like content creators. I think it's like it matters. If it matters to you, then just keep doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, yeah, like I think you hit it on the head, like I've been on YouTube for a while, right? And
yeah.
I've just been getting like consistent again with
Hmm.
this new like podcast, you know what I mean? I used to do a
Yeah.
fashion channel, right?
Yes, I remember you had like sneakers.
Yeah, I did a lot of sneakers and fashion and stuff like that, and I was pretty consistent with it, but I don't know, I just stopped doing it, right? And then
Yeah.
I did build like 50 or so followers, right? But then
Hmm.
now that I'm doing podcasts, I think I'm hitting such a different, like more different like people, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I want that, right? I want your perspective, right? And I want other people's perspective. So I think like it's just different ways of getting your content out there, and I think it's important just to keep going, like you said, you know what I mean? It's of course it's going to be hard, right? And it's going to
Yeah.
be, you might edit a whole video and you're like, oh man, it's not even as good as I wanted it to be, right? And
Yeah.
even if it's like that, then post it anyways, because most likely like you know that's one of your very first videos versus like 5-6 years down the road you've made over 1,000 videos. People are
Yeah.
not really gonna be going back to watch one of your first videos. So I think
Yeah.
like, and plus it's like practice makes perfect, right?
Hmm. I agree.
Yeah, and I was talking to myself about this and my girlfriend about this last night. I was just like, man, like I really want to be more entertaining, but at the same time hit the aspect of like helping others kind of achieve their passion, right? And
Yeah.
that's why I have like guests like you guys on. So it's like it's hard to be entertaining sometimes because I feel like if I'm like I feel like I am pretty entertaining just to
No,
me.
you are. Yeah.
but then I think I sometimes I feel like if I am just myself, I feel like people would like you said, like have self-doubt all the time too. So I think for new content creators, I think it's important to just do it, right?
Yes. And I think the right people will come along, like the
Yeah.
people who actually love or like love supporting you for you,
hmm
you know?
Yeah, like that, like that's why I've been such a, big fan of you ever since I met you, really. You know what I mean? Like,
Thank you.
yeah, like, and honestly, I can't really believe that we are like still like, friends. You know what I mean?
Why? Why not?
because it's like we're just like so far away from each other, and like we
Yeah.
don't talk or anything. But then I just think it's so cool how like sometimes I would like message you and was like, oh yeah, like that song is so cool. You know what I mean? Like your voice is so smooth in this one. You know what I mean? And we would just
Yeah.
have like mini conversations, throughout the years. And I think that's so cool. You're like a pen pal. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, thank you for being so supportive over the years. To be honest, like I make one video and then you'd be like, "Oh, like this was really cool." And like that just uplifts my spirit to like want to make more content. And
hmm
it's also with other people too who also comment on it because I'm just like, man, like they took the time to watch all of like this whole video even though it's 3 minutes long and to write something so kind is so it's so encouraging.
hmm Um. So right now, what are you working on currently?
Right now, I am a freelance video editor for a wedding company. So I make wedding videos like all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really cool. It kind of really is the dream job, but not really. It's not my dream job, but it's
Right.
definitely a stepping stone. I've learned so much, like editing wise, through this company, just because I get to make stories for these couples, and it's
hmm
it's such a beautiful thing to do, but also so hard. Especially with if you've done editing like color correction, like that
hmm
that stuff was it's tough, especially when each angle is different.
Right. I still don't
Um,
get color corrections, so it's
oh my gosh, me too. I just guessed.
yeah.
I'm like, I think this looks kind of
right.
good. But it's pretty neat. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to find a full-time job too right now and
hmm
also working on my like my videos still, making
hmm
content. I am also trying to open up my small little shop, which is called Never Too Much, a
Yeah, that's like
little
the next
promo.
topic. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's me just trying to work on myself creatively and also who I am as a person and becoming
Mhm.
better.
Yeah, so going into like your is it like a boutique shop kind of?
Kind of, I guess. I don't even know. I was like, man, I think a shop would be cool because I've been doing. If you follow me on Instagram for fun, I was just doing like embroidery and painting on shirts,
Yeah.
and then I was like, shoot, I think I could do this, for fun, like just selling stuff. And so I got like a limited supplies of like sweaters and shirts, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna paint these. I'm gonna sell it. Whoever wants it, they can buy it. If not, it's okay too.
Right.
Um,
So it's like custom like paintings, right?
yeah, kind of. I don't do custom orders, but it's whatever I think is cute.
Oh, okay.
So I hope people would think it's cute. And
Yeah.
so I've just been marketing it on like Instagram right now
Mhm.
and just giving like people sneak peeks of what's going to be on there so that when the website opens, because it's only one item, like one item each.
Yeah, so it's
Um,
like one of a kind, right?
yeah, it really is. And so
Mhm.
I'm hoping that with that, people will want to be quick about buying the item so that
Right.
another person doesn't take it. But also, so just because I don't have to like make so many, and if I don't meet that quota or that order, then I won't have a whole lot of money wasted for me.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a lot of pressure too. Like, are you working it by yourself?
Yeah, everything's I do hand. I
Yeah.
don't know hand thing.
Yeah, 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 like DIY stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Like, so talking about the store, right?
Mhm.
Or do you have like a set date on when you're gonna be dropping?
I want to drop around in January. I'm hoping between the second week of January. I really wanted to do it. I wanted to do it before Christmas, but
Hmm.
that wasn't going to happen because then everything would be rushed. And I
Right.
really want to get everything perfect so that when people do buy it, they're getting their money's worth.
Right. Um. So that's coming up in like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it is.
You excited?
I am. I mean, it's really cool because a lot of people have been supporting me,
Hmm.
and so I'm so thankful for everyone who does, and I'm so surprised that people do because I'm like, I think it's cute. I just hope other people do as
Right.
well.
And is it just like for women or is it for men too?
It's for everyone. I
Oh,
think
okay.
all of my clothes could be worn by men and women,
Hmm.
and there's different sizes too. I mean, there are limited sizes just because
Right.
I didn't get one of each kind
Hmm.
of shirts, but yeah, anyone can wear them. If you think it's girly, it's not, but
No, I mean
it might.
I saw a couple of them of the sneak peeks, and I thought the handbag was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
also I thought what was it? I think it was like that navy blue or that blue crew neck.
Oh yes, how the square one. I think
Yeah,
I know what you're
yeah.
talking
Hmm.
about.
Yeah, I thought that one was pretty cool too. So I'm excited to see what else you come up with. Um,
Thank you.
is it gonna be like so like this after you drop this, right? Is there
Mhm.
gonna be like a part two or like a part three? Is it gonna be like collections, pretty much?
It it might be. It depends on how this first one sells. Um,
Gotcha.
if I sell everything, then yes, I might go ahead and do a part two. But if I only sell like a couple items, I might just take a step back and be like, maybe this isn't for me and try something else.
Right. Man, I think that's very cool. Of like stepping out of your comfort zone, you know what I mean? And have you been always like a artist or like a drawing, painting, you know?
Yeah, I think I always loved creating things.
Mhm.
I think it took me a while to find like my style and what I really like, just because I tend to be like, ooh, like that's really cool. Let me try that. And then I would
Mhm.
try it out and I'm like, okay, maybe it's not for me. So, but now that I've grown more into who I am, I think I know what I like to create a lot more and what I can do.
Mhm.
But also kind of going back, like I love to just experiment and sort of dabble in new things because,
Right.
the world is all about learning and like
Mhm.
there's so much we can learn. So why not take that opportunity to do it?
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that with like the dabbling part, right? Because
Yeah.
I love to dabble in things too, and sometimes I find it hard to like keep my mind on one thing, right?
Yeah.
So like keep in mind on this podcast because I want to do so many other things, right?
Yeah.
Do you find it hard to like with just because you still do music, you're making wedding videos, and you're also making other digital content, and now you're opening up a boutique, like an online boutique. Do you find it
Hmm.
hard to give like 100% of yourself to each little section?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it can be draining.
Mhm.
I just remember editing so many videos where I was like, I never want to edit a video again, which made me not want to like record my own videos because then I had to edit my own
Right,
videos.
right.
Um, but at the same time, it's I mean, I feel like this is for everything, even if you're not an art person, like whatever you'll do, whatever, even if you love it, like you're going to get drained if you
Mm,
don't take safety precautions, if you don't take a step back and be like, okay, let me work on something else, which I think the dabbling kind of helps
mm,
because when I don't want to edit, I can make paint stuff. And when I don't want to do like the little boutique or like making stuff for the boutique, I can go ahead and go back to editing or try something else, like
right.
try to write a book or something, which I want to do.
Mhm.
But it's trying to go back to, I'm sorry, I forgot the original question.
No, that's okay. um, it's kind of like so you're using like different ways to not get bored of what you want to do,
Yeah,
right?
not get burnt out. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, not bored, but like yeah, drained and burnt out. Yeah, and So do you ever think about going into like this is a random question. It just popped in my head. Do you ever think about going into like BuzzFeed or like what's the other one? Jubilee?
Yeah, I have actually. I first of all, I love what Jubilee is doing. Like they
Hmm.
took, and actually, I know the brother of the guy from Jubilee, so I know that
Oh
they
yeah.
did. Yeah, yeah, he's such a cool guy. His name is Edward, and they actually do. I'm gonna get back to that question, but they
Yeah.
actually do sidetracking thing. It's really dark in my room now. Hold up,
Okay.
I'm playing with my lighting. Is that okay? That's a little bit better. Um, so they actually do sort of him and his wife Edward, the guy who used to be in Jubilee, but
Hmm.
now his brother Jason is in charge of Jubilee. So Edward and Jan, his wife, they actually have this program called Eight Parables, which is it's sort of like a retreat, but for Christian filmmakers, storytellers. You can be an audio mixer, costume designer,
Hmm.
whatever. Like as long as it's in the media field.
Right.
Um, and they want to focus on building that Christ-like community within the media field. So it's really cool. Go check them out if any of your viewers or audiences are looking for a Christian community for filmmakers or
Hmm.
storytellers. They're called Eight Parables. But going back to Jubilee, like I really love the direction that Jubilee is in now because they used to do short films, which was popular back in like 2012, 2016 kind of ish when Wong Fu was there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, but now they changed to more of like towards people and how people respond and react and
Hmm.
their thoughts. And it's really intriguing. So I would love to work with Jubilee Media just because I really like what they're going towards
Hmm.
and just kind of like questioning the human thought. Um,
That's true. I think I didn't even know they were out that long, like 2012, making like short films like that. I
yeah.
just thought they came out like I don't know. I think they started popping like 2-3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
changed their content, which was really, really cool.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was the first time I heard them when they changed their content.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you ever think about doing that, like on your channel? Just
Mo-
seeing people's perspective and like certain topics or like certain questions.
Yeah, I don't think I have just because I don't have a big team like Jubilee does,
Hmm.
and they have such a big and they live in LA, which they have the ability to access like so many people who actually want to be in films
Right.
and videos.
Right.
And I'm not sure if Kansas is the place for it yet. But for sure, I know that the Kansas community in filmmaking is growing like
Hmm.
steadily. And, thanks to going to a sort of like a film school kind of. But I was able to build like relationships with the people in my film classes. And
Right.
from that, like I can see we can help each other if we need to do like a small project outside of work or, just building connections, which is
Hmm.
so important.
Right. Um, Speaking of Kansas, how was it like growing up in Kansas? Like, were you in Kansas your whole life? And like, do you want to move out of Kansas or Kansas?
Yeah, I've lived in Kansas my whole life. I personally love Kansas.
Mm,
I just feel like it's such a nice in between. Like there's enough city, but there's also enough country, a little bit of suburban areas, and everything is within reach. But also, I was talking to somebody about this as well, and if I moved to LA with the skills that I have, I would probably be not at the bottom, but like an entry level, like trying to compete with everybody. Because
right.
when you move to cities that have such huge populations of people who are doing the same thing you're doing and trying to get that best job, like,
Right.
of course, it's going to be hard to get into it. So that's why it's so important to start in a small community in a small city like Kansas, where it's
Hmm.
not that big, but you can get your foot in the door if you needed to. And so in the future, I would love to move from Kansas City just wherever my job takes me. But for now, like I don't mind living in Kansas and trying to build myself up on that ladder first.
Yeah,
And
for
then I
sure.
can go and take that experience somewhere else.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for like you and me is just like building and practicing our content. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think I just had a friend of mine. I just dropped the podcast on it the other day, and he talked
Hmm.
about like how he got into an internship with um, a radio station, and now he's interning for like a big entertainment blog business or like thing. And he said that like the main thing is because he had content to
Hmm.
back
Yeah.
back his skills up. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important to for anybody who wants to like go in the big city. You know what I mean? Or take a take a big step into that type of field or the entertainment field in general. I think it's just important to have like a YouTube channel or like or something to back you up, right?
Yes, for sure. Like going into like for school for like film and stuff, it's so important to build that portfolio. Like I could have
Mhm.
took classes on like film history and I probably should have, but honestly I loved more of like the film production part because
Mhm.
I could actually get um my own content at the end of it because we're
Right.
actually making our own films, and from that I can show it to companies and be like, look, I know how to make a film,
Mhm.
and I know how to set up production, and that's what they want. They don't want people who know. I mean, yes, it's important to know the history, but they want people who can actually do it and have proof
Right.
that they have done it.
Mhm. I mean, I took a videography class one time, right? And
Hmm.
I guess it was kind of like a history because we used like the old like wind up ones.
Oh, okay, the films, I think.
Yeah, those were so annoying. Like I didn't that made me like not want to go into it anymore because it's like
Yeah,
I didn't even want to like do this. Like it was like black and white, and I know like black and white is like important when it comes to like film and stuff like that. But then like
hmm,
I think that thing just kind of like made me less interested in like filming, you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
I do still want to like learn videography and stuff like that, and I do learn it just on YouTube and stuff whenever I need to. But then
yeah.
like I think I guess just learning different things is important, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, I think everyone learns differently too. Like
Mhm.
I personally learn hands on, so I actually have to touch the camera and like make my
Right.
mistakes
Right.
before I can do it again. And I have to
Mhm.
keep doing it as a repetition so that I know like which buttons to press or like which button not to press.
Mhm.
And I'm not even a skilled videographer, if I'm gonna be honest. I but it's sort of kind of like making sure everything looks good,
Yeah.
and not winging it, but kind of winging it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the secret. Honestly, like winging it but not winging it. You know what I mean? Because I think, most of my stuff is just kind of like turn it on and let's see where it takes me.
Hope for the best.
Yeah. So like talking about like all of your content and stuff like that, what really like inspires you to make all this stuff? You know what I mean? Like we've
Yeah.
talked about like you've been a creative person and your perspective with God. Um what really inspires you to first like create? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think this might be a typical cliche answer, but it's the way I express myself too. And it's it's sort of how I find a little bit more of myself, if that makes sense. Like the more I
Hmm.
create, the more I'm like, this is a little bit of who I am. Not trying to find my identity in what I make, but it's more of like, if I can make this like really well, like maybe this is a gift God has given me.
Hmm.
And also what continues to inspire me to create even more today is like I just want people to see the struggling, like from me personally, like to see
Right.
the struggle, but to know that everything is still going to be okay. Even if
Hmm.
it's not, but I want them to know like I've been through that, and that they can get through it, and that
Hmm.
we're going to get through it kind of thing. And because I've like growing up, I I'm trying to like word it right. But
Yeah.
like growing up, I've never really had I don't have an older sister. It's just me and my brother. And
Mm,
so I had to kind of learn things on my own.
right.
And so with that, I want to become like an older sister to, the people that are looking up to me or the people that follow me on Instagram. Like I want to be that older sister who's like, hey, like this is real. Like struggling with your worth is real, but let me
Hmm.
tell you, like, but God is also real too.
Right.
And and so if they can see my struggles, I hope that they know that they'll be okay.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Like you said, you were the oldest, right?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Yeah, I'm the oldest too, and it's really hard, right? It,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
even know who to learn from, right?
Yes, you're kind of just like, I mean, we have, as a Hmong family, like we have like older cousins, right? But it's
Hmm.
so different because
Yeah, it's not really the same. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know how you feel. And so it,
Yeah,
it is different because you got to learn everything pretty much on your own.
yeah. I mean, I've been through those times where it's like, man, it's like I think it would be so much easier if I had an older brother or older sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I always think about that too. And it's like, man, I wish if I had an older sister, she would know what to say
Right,
or
right.
have gone through that. But,
Hmm.
again, there's also a blessing to like why we're the oldest too. And
Right.
I think it's also made us like stronger as individuals.
Hmm.
Not saying that the youngest one isn't as strong, but
Now they're
I'm
not
just
that
kidding.
strong.
I'm just kidding, man. But being an older sibling, there is a lot of responsibilities, but also, yeah, there's a lot of things that we care for too.
Hmm.
That's different.
Yeah. So like being the oldest, right, and being among women, right?
Mm.
What struggles have you faced and like overcame like throughout your years?
I think I've been so blessed to have a family that like they're not too Hmong. Like you know what I mean? Like they're
Mm,
not. I mean, there's a standard of like, I gotta wake up early, I gotta cook breakfast,
right.
kind of thing. But at the same time, it's not because I mean, yes, it is because I'm a woman, but I understand. Like again, not saying that that is my role, but I know that I could help out in the family in that way. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so I've just been so blessed to not be held down, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
of my gender,
Mhm.
and it's because my family has like in my family everything we do I I like to make sure that everything I do my brother will do. So if I
Right.
wash the dishes, he's gonna wash them. If I take out the trash, he's gonna take out the trash. Or if he takes
Right.
out the trash, I will. And so it's like we because it's just the two of us, we like to make it equal so that it's
Mhm.
fair. But I know that's not the case for most Hmong women, and I understand like their struggle with that. And even being like among women going into media, like at first, my dad was not down for that. He
Mhm.
was like, I want you to be a nurse. And I knew in my heart, though, I'm like, I can't. Like, that's just not how I work. Like,
Right.
in high school, I sucked at math and science and I always got bad grades. But when I
Mhm.
went to college and I was doing classes I loved, I was getting straight A's. And that's
Right.
because I was doing things that I was excelling at. And so, but it took a while for my dad to come around for this media job, and him seeing what I am doing and what I can do. It's
Mhm.
took a while, but he never once discouraged me in that sense. He always helped me out. Like one time I wanted to film my aunt for like a short film that I had in mind at the time,
Right.
and
Mhm.
he drove me to find her, and we shot. Well, I shot and he was there with me. And so with that, it's just like again, I'm so blessed to be able to have a family that is supporting me in this, especially in
Mhm.
this job where I know a lot of Asian parents would say no to.
Right. Yeah. It is scary, right? It's scary when you have to tell your parents like, yeah, I don't want to be a doctor.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into the art field.
Yeah, like I don't know why it's so looked down upon, you know what I mean? I think it's and I think that adds so much pressure to people. like people in
Mm.
general, but then like Asians especially, because like you know we're supposed to be, right? It's an expectation to like be an
Yeah.
engineer, be a doctor, or, something in that high status level, you know what I mean? Quote unquote
Yeah.
high status, right?
Yeah.
And I think with the new media and social media, right? I think it's important to see a different route, or at least acknowledge it, right? And I think
Yeah.
it's important, especially for like younger kids, like young adults like us, right? Who was so afraid of like exploring it, you know what I mean? Where the point where it's like they just shut it out completely. And honestly, I think that is so like heartbreaking when like they just shut out what they're passionate about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you said, like you told your dad, like you just it's not in you to be like a nurse or something, right? It's like
Mhm.
you can't hide who you really are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I know a lot of people who are just doing the things that their parents want them to do. And, I understand their respect for their parents too. But,
Right.
I also want them to at least try it out, at
Hmm.
least do it as a hobby or something. Like, don't completely give up on it.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like keep it as a hobby. You're right. Yeah, that's true. I think even if you're not gonna be pursuing it, as long as you know, keep it in your heart. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's the best way to put it. So going back to your boutique thingy, what was it called? Never too much, right?
Yep. Never too much.
And I went through um your YouTube videos. You made 3 small clips of the never too much thing.
Yeah.
Can you explain more about what never too much means?
Yeah. So I started this because I hate the saying. Okay, so I'm just gonna paint a background. When you're at a birthday party
Mhm.
and mom parents are like, "Does anyone have anything to say to my daughter or my son?" kind of thing.
Right,
Like, does that
yeah.
ever happen to you? And no one says anything, and then it just kind of feels a little discouraging,
Mhm.
because not even like your close friends would say, you know, thanks for being a friend, or like they're
Right.
all too shy, and
Mhm.
that's okay. But at the same time, I was like, man, like it is kind of sad to think about how we only really tell someone how much they mean to us when they're gone or when it's too late.
Mhm.
And so I was like, okay, how can I tell my friends that I love them in a way that is me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a short film about my friends.
Mhm.
And so never too much came up from the saying of there is never too much of telling someone how much they mean to you. And I feel like that is so true, because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know how I feel about you, or like,
Right,
oh, you
right.
just know my heart. Like, no, they actually don't. So why don't you tell them when they feel like, if you feel like you need to, even if it's too much, there is never too much of it, which is
Mhm.
why I was like, okay, never too much. I like that. I like that saying. It's easy on the tongue.
Right.
It's not too hard to spell. And so that's how that series was born. And I want to add more to it. I just have had a hard time, especially with COVID and
Right.
meeting people, um, especially my friends, because schedules are so different now.
Yeah.
But I do want to add more to it. And that was also what inspired the boutique line of Never Too Much, too,
Mhm.
because you can also express how much you love someone through the acts of gifts. And so I
Right.
was hoping that with that, I mean, you could gift it to yourself, tell yourself how much you love you,
Right.
or gift it to somebody else.
Yeah. Man, that is such a cool way of spreading love.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I think right now, especially, it's like you said, the COVID times, and it's just hard even to see, you like family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
especially if you live away from your family and you can't even, you feel like you can't go see them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Especially if
I
you have
just,
older people living over there too.
yeah, for sure. And babies too. Like,
Yeah.
the kids are so cute, but you want to keep everyone safe,
Right. So how's it been? How have you been taking the COVID quarantine and this pandemic?
At first, I was down for it. I'm like, I get to
Mhm.
stay home and I get to work from home. It's cool.
Right.
And then it just started like it happened too long or it keeps going. And so I'm okay with it. It's also kind of pushed my way to communicate more towards my friends.
Mm.
Like, it makes me want to see them more. But I know
Mhm.
I know we shouldn't. But also, it makes me
Yeah.
want to connect with them more. Talk
Right.
to them more and be like, "How are you doing? How can we still have friend dates like on
Right.
Zoom or something?" And it definitely changes the way we love people and
Mhm.
the way you want to love people even more because of being away from them for so long.
That's true. I think it gives us a reason to like miss everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
And in Kansas, I live in Wisconsin, so then it's different. I feel like it's different, right? So in Kansas, is are people wearing masks and stuff like that for the
Yeah, for
most
sure.
part?
Most of the times they do, especially because stores sometimes they're like you have to wear a mask in
Hmm.
order to come inside. And but we aren't as strict. I know that I know that for example, like at a park, when I went to a
Hmm.
park just a couple months ago, like no one was wearing a mask.
Oh,
And yeah, it's crazy. Like people
yeah.
just kind of go on like with their day.
Hmm. I think I think it's kind of hard for people to kind of like take this as like the new normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I sometimes forget we're in a pandemic, which is bad.
Is it just because like you're already like um seeing this as the new norm?
I guess so. In a sense, it's like I do miss just like hanging out with my youth group
Hmm.
um without wearing a mask or without trying to like worry if that person has contacted with someone who has COVID.
Right.
But it's also kind of like, yeah, I am kind of getting adjusted to the new norm of
Hmm.
this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long or how many years we have left of this, but I think people do just need to, be safer. Um, I know Wisconsin, it's kind of hard over here.
Mhm.
Um, just not a lot of people follow rules.
Yeah, I think that's everybody in the United States of
Right.
America.
Yeah. Um, so I have this new segment. You're the very first guest
Yeah.
to be in this new segment. It's called Platinum Questions, right? So Platinum Questions is like kind of like a couple questions, like deep dive questions, kind of personal. Some are personal, some are just rhetorical questions. You don't have to answer it if it's too personal, but I do like to keep this podcast real and raw, just for our viewers to make sure they know the struggle or they know that they're not alone in this, whatever that they might be feeling. So, you ready?
Yeah. All right, I'm ready.
All right. First one, it's not really a question, but it's like describe your life in 1 to 2 sentences.
I do sentences. Oh man. Okay. Do I have to answer quickly or
No, no, no. You take
okay?
your time.
How many words makes a sentence? Like seven?
um, yeah, about there.
My life in 1 or 2 sentences. Uh, I would say am I am just a girl trying to create joy and emotions through the things I make. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think that pretty much sums up everything that you do.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Next one is what is or are your biggest insecurities?
My biggest securities. Let me see. That's tough. I feel like I've confronted a lot of them already, so it's
Oh,
kind of like
really?
I've made peace with some of them. But I'm still insecure for sure.
Yeah.
But it's more of like it doesn't really bother me. It used to be my height, but now I'm like It doesn't really bother me.
Well,
But my
I think most Hmong girls are pretty short. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
mean, I haven't seen you in a while, so you
I'm
know.
the same height, dude.
Oh,
That the
really?
same picture. I think that picture I'm the same height in there as I was now. I don't remember. Uh,
Yeah, then you're pretty short. I'm just kidding.
yeah, I'm really tiny. I guess my biggest insecurity is when I create something for somebody and they don't like it. I don't know if that's even one.
Yeah, I think that would be one. I think like it wouldn't be like um critiques either. I think it would just be in general, right? Like if you're creating something for someone because it's through your perspective, it's not through theirs, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
want it to be through theirs, but then it's you're the one creating it, so it's not really theirs, you know.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
looking at their perspective. You're looking at their lens through your perspective.
And it sort of makes me question, like, am I good enough for what I'm doing if they didn't like it, kind of thing.
Mm, that's true. I mean, like if you think about it, right? Is it um is it good enough, or I mean, is it not good enough for them, or is it just that they didn't like your perspective on it,
Well, I guess
or they can't see your perspective on it?
I think it's I think it's like what you said, like they can't see my perspective, but to be the to answer the insecurity part, I think it's me not feeling good enough again. So it's like
Mm,
my work not being enough for them.
right. Do you is that is that taking it past your work and your content for other people? Like, do you feel like that on like a personal level too, like with people, some people?
Not with my work. I think if it's for me, like the videos that I make and the pictures that I post are for me. So it's not like I'm not too worried if people don't like them. I know people are always going to judge
Right.
whatever I do.
Hmm.
But it's especially for the cases of like if someone was to be like, hey, can you make a video for me? And I make it for them. And then they're like, I actually don't like the way you made this video. And it's like, dang, like, okay, I'm just going to go reevaluate my life.
All right. Well, yeah, I only had two questions.
Okay, that was cool.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask too, like um I just had the question too. So going back into like the perspective that you have, like being a Christian and being among women, and being in the media, do you think your content and stuff tries to um inspire up and coming Hmong women to kind of pursue the media? I know we touched it a little bit, but do you like what ways do you think that your videos inspire them, if that makes
To be
sense?
honest, yeah, yeah. I don't, to be honest, I'm not even sure if I do inspire young Hmong girls. If I do like that, that'd be amazing. But I hope that the one thing they can take away from it is to just be themselves. And I know that
Hmm.
sounds cliche, but at the end of the day, it's like if you try to pretend to be someone else, it's going to show regardless,
Hmm.
whether it's going to be today or tomorrow or the next year, people will see. And so, but I feel like Hmong girls, for specifically Hmong Christian girls, I feel like they're going to make videos regardless. I've seen tons of Hmong girls with like, really cute makeup video channels and
Hmm.
I love that support. And so
Yeah.
it's just people trying to do what they love. And so I'm not sure if I inspire anybody, but if I do, I just hope with that takeaway from
Right.
that.
Right. Also, like, so talking about new media and stuff like that. What other platforms are you on? Like, are you on Twitter or like
No, I actually,
Snapchat or like TikTok? I know TikTok is huge right now.
it is huge. But I also had to take a break from TikTok because it was so much. Like I wasted too much time on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, I think occasionally it's really great to take breaks from the media
Mhm.
because otherwise you'll just be sucked into like this wormhole of like I could do so much better, or like you see people who are your age or younger doing so much better and you're like,
Right.
what am I doing wrong? And so I feel like it's important to take a break for yourself, especially away from the media, and just be like, okay, let me just spend some time with me. And well, when I do it, I spend time with me and God, and we just like I just talk to him most of the time. He's just listening, and it's just me reflecting on who I am and how I can be a better person. So, what platforms? I'm only on Instagram, um, and YouTube. I mostly spend all my time on YouTube,
Mhm.
and Instagram. I do post pictures here and there. So it's a way for me if you want to connect a lot more. For sure, Instagram is a way to connect.
Right. And also, like, I think, have you ever thought about going on like Twitter?
I have. I actually deleted my Twitter just recently though, just because I don't really post that much on Twitter anyways.
Hmm.
And I know it's a great way to get content out too.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just I feel like that old person who's like not adjusting to like the new media.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Even like Snapchat, I don't even use Snapchat, but like I have one.
Snapchat is so old now.
Is it? I don't. I just like started using it again. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And TikTok, I don't know. I just can't get onto TikTok. Like you said, like I'm afraid like being sucked into that wormhole and just look down and then look back up and it's like it's been 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's happened to me before.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you, I do spend mainly on YouTube, listen to a lot of podcasts on there and on Facebook sometimes just to for um what is it, contacting purposes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
also use LinkedIn.
oh, LinkedIn.
Uh-huh.
What do you use LinkedIn for? Like for business purposes?
Yeah, so like I love connecting with people, or like I love looking at new jobs.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just stuff like that. It's a pretty cool way to like connect with the business world.
Gotcha. I mean, I've used LinkedIn for like school and stuff, but I've never
Mhm.
really looked into it myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a nice place to find jobs for sure.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yes, I want it all the time, dude.
Right. So we're reaching the end here, about an hour in. Do you have anything to plug? I know like your story, you could say that again, and your Instagram and your YouTube. And w- I want to end off with something like what do you have to say for like up and coming content creators, that are kind of like iffy about going into the entertainment industry because they feel like their parents won't support them, or like they're just scared of what people might think of them. Do you have any like words of encouragement, words of advice for any up and coming content creators, videographers,
Yeah, for sure. So for anyone who's like upcoming or who wants to go into like that media field, I would encourage you to do it, um, and try it out. And the worst thing you can do is the worst thing you can do is to fail. But then again, when you fail, you learn so much from failing,
Mhm.
and that is a way for you to push yourself up, try something else. You'll find yourself more as you grow, um, and just keep creating. Even though if it doesn't make sense right now, you'll look back and you'll be like, okay, like this is where I started. How can I get better? Um, and again, like as I said earlier, just be yourself, because honestly, that's what people look for these days is authenticity. So
Mhm.
as long as you're authentic, you'll find people who will love whatever you do and it will encourage you in whatever you do. And if your parents aren't around to the idea yet, find ways to encourage them that this is a path for the future. There are so many jobs that are not even like created yet. And
Right.
that's crazy to think because of the media. And so let them know like there's a future in that. And if you're passionate for it, it will show. And it will spark others. And so I hope that was encouraging to you guys. And then also with my plugs, you can follow me on Instagram. It's just rose.xiong, Xiong. I don't know why I spelled my last name, but and then my YouTube channel is Rosie Xiong. And also, yeah, you guys can just find me there.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you guys follow her boutique too on Never Too Much, right?
Yes, and I think it's 148 at the end of it. But
Okay.
if you follow my Instagram, you can find the link to
Right.
that one.
I'll make sure to leave everything down in the description too. Rosie, thank you for being on here with me. I know my platform is a little, like I keep saying this about my platform. It's like it's really unprofessional and it's just kind of like go with the flow, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
it's
thank
not it's
you.
not unprofessional. Hey, you gotta talk highly about your stuff,
Right,
okay? Your
right.
stuff is
It's that
good.
self-doubt coming back again.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for been wanting to interview me. It's been such a blessing to see you and chat with you, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's been 6 years, so
I know, crazy.
it's been
Time
a very
flies.
long time. But yeah, thank you so much for coming and talking about your passion and what drives you. And for anybody who wants to, keep in contact and see what Rosie's up to, make sure you guys go follow her on her stuff. I know that in the future Rosie's going to be doing big things, so make sure you guys follow her too, and make sure you guys subscribe, like, and share this video, and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you guys go check out me or check out my podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. I am on those platforms now too. And make sure you guys share this video to make sure people stay passionate about their passions, their dreams, and everything in between. This is Austin signing out. Peace.